Gloria is in a tough spot. She's just lost 2 Pokemon to Melanie's Ice Cube. She's not been in this position before, and it's somewhat scary. She wasn't too familiar with Melanie's battling style beforehand, so she has no idea what to expect, or worse, how to get past this. Gloria stands motionless, unsure of what to do next. She can't afford to lose another Pokemon. She wonders if maybe she should just call the battle off, or... What's that sound? Oh, it's her Rotom phone ringing, and it's Ash calling? Gloria answers the call. Ash is, of course, somewhere in the stands, but the audience is so packed that she can't see him. Gloria, you need to focus out there. Get it together and show Melanie what you're made of. I'm trying, Ash. Ugh, this is all my fault. I should have learned more about Melanie's battling style before challenging her. Gloria, a good trainer can battle well, even in difficult situations. Don't you believe your Pokemon are strong enough to win on their own, without any knowledge of their opponents beforehand? Of course I do. Do you really? Do you actually have confidence that your Pokemon can win any battle? Gloria isn't sure of what to say. Sure, she thinks it's helpful to have a strategy, but she trusts her Pokemon too, doesn't she? Or maybe she doesn't. This entire time, she thought gathering information to better prepare for battles was just the most sensible way to achieve victory. Not once did she think that she was implying to others that her Pokemon weren't strong enough to win outside of a pre-planned strategy. But now that Ash brought it up, she starts to doubt herself. I can't believe it. I've never thought of the way I battled in this way before. I thought I was making the best decision, but have I actually been doubting my Pokemon? Before Ash can say another word, he's cut off. Gloria is confused at first until another face appears on her screen. Gloria, what do you think you're doing? Avery? I'm watching your match on TV right now. Get back into that battle and show Melanie what you're made of. Remember, you're representing yourself as my rival. And with that, Avery abruptly ends his call. Gloria can barely even register what just happened, but a voice snaps her out of confusion. Challenger Gloria, you've not made a move for a while now. If you don't act soon, I'll have to end this battle here, Melanie finally says. Gloria quietly thanks Ash for the pep talk. She knows what she has to do. With a new fire in her eyes, she grabs a Pokeball, specifically a Love Ball. Sorry about that. I'm ready to continue, Gloria says. Ash is right. A good trainer can win any battle. I don't need to put together elaborate strategies. My Pokemon have the strength to beat anyone, including Melanie, and eventually, Leon. Gloria knows she doesn't have as much information on Melanie's Pokemon as she would have liked, but she does remember what Melanie said about Ice Cube's ability early on, and this prompts her to bring out her Galarian Ponyta. She can win this by using long-ranged attacks, and her Ponyta has the moveset to help her achieve this. First, she orders Stomp, and Melanie commands Hail to put up another Ice Face. Gloria smirks, then calls off the Stomp attack. She then switches to Psybeam. Being that the attack isn't a physical move, Ice Cube's Ice Face doesn't shield it from the attack. Melanie has no issue with being baited, though, and simply commands a Freeze Dry. The attack is launched, but Ponyta is able to dodge. Melanie tells Ice Cube to pursue Ponyta, but it's nowhere near fast enough. Gloria smiles. Her plan worked. With the Ice Face, Ice Cube was slower than before, and Ponyta has the speed advantage. Melanie tries to recover and commands Icy Wind to slow Ponyta down. The attack does a decent amount of damage, but Ponyta maintains her footing. She counters with a strong Fairy Wind attack, and this is able to finally defeat Ice Cube. Melanie applauds Gloria for being able to come up with a strategy to defeat her Ice Cube, and then sends in her last Pokemon, Lapras. She says that this battle ends here, but Gloria shows no fear. She commands Psybeam, but the attack doesn't do too much to the bulky Lapras, who strikes back with Ice Beam. The attack pushes Ponyta across the ice, eventually causing her to slide. Lapras gets in close with Surf, slamming Ponyta into the gym wall. Gloria calls out to her Pokemon, asking if it's okay, but before the horse can respond, Lapras puts Ponyta to sleep with Sing. With Ponyta asleep, she's unfortunately helpless to the barrage of attacks Lapras sends her way. She's taken down with Surf, having barely done any damage. Gloria recalls the fallen Pokemon, praising her for her great effort in defeating Ice Cube. Only one Pokemon is left for each side. Gloria is down to Arctozolt, who has already taken damage from its earlier battle, but Gloria feels that she's the only one who could win this battle anyway. Arctozolt is sent out, and she locks eyes with Lapras, The elegant ice types glare at each other furiously. Gloria commands the first attack, Bolt Beak. Though weakened, Arctozolt is still strong and fast enough to skate across the ice to land her powerful attack, dealing major damage. Lapras strikes back with a close-range Hydro Pump. Arctozolt flies back into the air, but is able to roll back into her feet. She goes in for another strong Bolt Beak, but Lapras goes for Sing. Gloria has Arctozolt slide on her stomach to just narrowly avoid the attack, and then land her attack. Melanie and the crowd are stunned by this unique strategy, and Gloria explains that she learned impromptu moves from watching Ash battle for so long. Melanie praises the challenger for her quick win. Gloria knows that she can't risk anything though, and calls back Arctozolt for a Dynamax. Melanie does the same with her Lapras. Gigantamax Lapras stares down Dynamaxed Arctozolt on the field. A Gmax Resonance brings in an Aura Veil onto the field, which Melanie explains will help her Lapras withstand any attacks. But Gloria doesn't seem phased, and has Arctozolt use Max Lightning, which adds an electric terrain to the field. And with the boosted power of electric moves, Arctozolt is able to fire an even stronger Max Lightning the second time around. Lapras attempts to strike back with Max Geyser, and the attack also does major damage. Both bulky ice types are on their last legs. The final clash of Gmax Resonance and Max Lightning causes a massive explosion, shaking the entire stadium. Before the Pokemon even shrink down, Lapras ends up fainting, while Arctozolt, while wobbly on her feet, remains standing. Ash cheers wildly, along with the rest of the audience, thrilled Gloria was able to pull through. The gym leader and challenger meet in the center of the battlefield. Melanie applauds Gloria for being able to turn the battle around, and gives her the Ice Badge. Gloria thanks her, but tells her it was thanks to Ash's advice, his unique battling style, and her Pokemon's strength that she was able to win. She says she'll keep his words to heart from now on, and she hopes to become an even better trainer because of it. After the battle, Ash rushes up to Gloria in the lobby, praising her for her win. He says that this has to be the best battle he's ever seen from her. Gloria shyly blushes, saying that it was all thanks to him that she won. On her Rotom phone, Avery is also praising her, saying that she better not scare him like that again. His rival should only be showing off her best in gym battles. Gloria tells him that she'll keep that in mind, and quickly hangs up the phone. Meanwhile, a few young kids rush up to Gloria, asking for her autograph. She's shocked by this, having never been asked for her autograph before, but agrees to the requests. Seeing this, Ash is pumped for his own battle against Gordy. While Gloria is busy, he asks Pikachu if he'd like to go for some last-minute training before their battle, and of course the small mouse agrees. The next day, Ash's gym battle with Gordy takes place. The gym has been completely renovated for the occasion, and it's like a different building from yesterday, but it only gets Ash all the more hyped. He puts on his uniform at lightning speed and heads to the stadium. Gordy quickly makes his appearance. The bold and flashy gym leader makes an extravagant entrance, posing as he walks onto the pitch. The crowd roars, and Gordy boasts about the amazing show he's going to give them through the battle. But Ash also gains a lot of cheers as he enters. Gordy tells Ash that he's heard about him, and he hoped he'd challenge him one day. He lets him know that he's in for a tough battle, and he hopes he's prepared. Ash states that he's glad to be facing off against the Rock-type gym leader as well, and he's ready for any challenge. And with that, the two send out their Pokemon. Gordy starts the battle with his Barbaracle, and Ash chooses Corviknight. The audience cheers loudly when Corviknight lands on the field, with many of the audience members being clear fans of his. The Steel Bird is used to this by now, though. He's always been popular among League viewers, which makes sense. Corviknight has been a main presence on Ash's team since his first battle in the region, and has helped him win many more battles. And once again, Corviknight can't resist giving the audience a quick aerial show before the battle. But it's clear that Ash himself is becoming more and more popular as well, with many people cheering his name and holding up signs in support. Gloria even sees a few people wearing t-shirts with Ash's face on them. Gordy compliments Ash on his popularity, though his tone holds a noticeable amount of jealousy. He also states that this is his home turf, and regardless of how many people root for Ash, he'll be the one winning. Gordy commands Shell Smash to start, increasing Barbaracle's speed and attack stats. Ash is unfazed, as he knows Corviknight is fast, so he has Corviknight go in for Steel Wing. But Barbaracle is able to quickly dodge it, and strike back with a Razor Shell. Ash switches to a new move Corviknight recently learned, Iron Head. But Barbarical cleanly dodges again and strikes Corviknight with Rock Tomb. Ash can see that Corviknight is struggling, but he has faith that he can turn this around. As such, he simply commands more Steel Wing and Iron Hit attacks, though he only connects with a few. Barbarical is just too fast now. Even worse, Barbarical is able to land pretty much every single hit, and Corviknight is getting weaker. Ash attempts to recall the bird, but Corviknight actually refuses. He wants to get a win for the audience. So Ash keeps him in the battle and orders a sky attack. Gordy laughs, saying this was a mistake. He commands a final barrage of Fraser Cell attacks, the final which ends up landing a critical hit. Corviknight slams into the ground and struggles to get back to his feet. He briefly forces himself to stand, before immediately plummeting to the ground, unconscious. Ash, Pikachu, Gloria, and everyone in the audience is shocked. Everyone who has been following Ash's matches on TV or in person views Corviknight as one of Ash's strongest Pokemon, so to see him taken down on the first battle after having barely done any damage is a shock, and has everyone a bit shaken. Even those who appear to support Gordy are in shock. Ash can't believe it either, but he tries to keep his composure, as Gordy gloats that he told Ash that he'd be winning. He then asks who Ash is sending out next. Ash returns Corviknight, thanking him for a good battle. As for his next choice, he decides on Sirfetch'd. The audience cheers upon seeing the new evolution, since Sirfetch'd's last battle was against B the Farfetch'd. Sirfetch'd remembers this battle. It was his first gym battle, and his first loss. Now is his moment of greatness, though. This is his opportunity to reclaim his honor and get a win for his trainer in a gym battle. Ash tells Sirfetch'd that he knows that he'll be able to win this battle. Gordy doesn't seem threatened, and says he still has the advantage. He commands Barbarical to use Rock Tomb, but Sirfetch'd has a counter. Ash has the Knight send back the incoming rocks with his Brutal Swing. The rocks are sent back flying, striking Barbarical. Gordy decides to switch to a Razor Cell to get in close, which he thinks is fine since Barbarical still has the speed advantage. Ash grins as this is what he hoped for. He commands Sirfetch'd to block the attack with his shield first, and he successfully does so. He then tells the bird to use a new move he prepared, just for this battle, Leaf Blade. Gordy is stunned, but has no time to react. The attack not only cleanly strikes Barbarical, it lands a critical hit, taking him down. Sirfetch'd lifts his sword in celebration and lets out a victorious cry. He's finally done it. He's finally gotten his redemption. The audience cheers, as well as Gloria, and she's thrilled to see Sirfetch'd's newfound power. Gordy yells that this doesn't mean anything. After all, he still got the first win, and he'll get the last one as well. He strikes a pose and sends out his Stonejourner next, and starts with Stealth Rock. Ash decides to go on the offensive, and hit Stonejourner with a Meteor Assault. During training, he learned from his Pokédex that this was a special move that Sirfetch'd could use, and wanted to try it out during the gym battle. The attack does huge damage, but Stonejourner's defenses are incredibly strong, as Gordy explains, and the Pokémon is able to hang on. Unfortunately, Ash also learns that this move leaves Sirfetch'd immobile after using it. With Sirfetch'd having to recharge, Gordy takes the time to hit Sirfetch'd with a hard body slam, which paralyzes him. He then orders a Rock Tomb to trap the bird. Ash has no choice but to command Leaf Blade as a method to destroy the rocks. Sirfetch'd is able to strike a few, but unfortunately, being paralyzed, he's unable to fully free himself. So Gordy commands a second body slam. Ash tells Sirfetch'd to counter the attack with Leaf Blade. Thankfully, Sirfetch'd manages to fight through the paralysis and execute the move. The two attacks collide, which result in a double knockout. Gordy is annoyed, but Ash is relieved that at least Sirfetch'd was able to bring Stonejourner down. Gordy says that the match is tied, but he plans to push things in his favor. He brings out his Shuckle next, and Ash goes with Carkol, who immediately gets hurt by the Stealth Rocks. This naturally angers him, and fire erupts from his back in this rage. The crowd is shocked by Ash's choice, curious why he chose his fire type over one of his water types. And even Gordy laughs, saying that Ash is clearly throwing the match. He says he actually expected better from a challenger so well spoken of, and a Alola champion at that. But Ash says that Carkol will win this for sure. After all, he's already fired up. Gordy doubts this, and he tells Shuckle to just end things with a strong Stone Edge. But Ash tells Carkol to dodge the attacks. Carkol is able to easily avoid the stones with his natural speed, and hits back with Rock Slide. Gordy decides to use his secret weapon. He orders a Power Swap. Ash has never seen this move, but Gordy explains that this attack causes Shuckle to become more offensively powerful. He then orders a Stone Edge, which knocks Carkol back hard. He then uses Rock Tomb, which Carkol only just avoids. Ash commands Heat Wave, which hits Shuckle fairly hard since his defenses are now weaker. Gordy orders Sticky Web in an effort to slow Carkol down, but Ash simply has Carkol use Rock Polish to speed up and dodge. Gordy becomes annoyed, calling for Shuckle to use Stone Edge once again, but Carkol's speed saves him. Ash has Carkol dash up the giant stones, where he takes aim with Rock Slide. He launches the attack, and Shuckle is too slow to dodge, so he's defeated. Ash congratulates Carkol for his victory, and the rock car bounces around happily, igniting his body on fire. But soon, these flames turn into a bright blue glow, and everyone is surprised. The audience gasps collectively as Carkol evolves into Colossal, giving Ash his final fully evolved Pokemon. Ash is thrilled, but Gordy simply smirks. Ash is confused. Considering Gordy's behavior earlier, he thought he'd be a bit more upset about the unexpected evolution. That is, until Gordy sends out his own Colossal. Ash is surprised to see that Gordy has the same Pokemon, and the gym leader introduces this Pokemon as his strongest partner. Gordy begins by commanding Tar Shot, a move Ash hasn't seen before. His Colossal is coated in a strange substance which causes him to shiver. But he doesn't seem hurt, so Ash assumes the move simply didn't do anything. So without thinking too much of it, he orders Rock Slide, which successfully hits Gordy's Colossal. Gordy then orders a Heat Crash. Ash commands Colossal to dodge, and he prepares to move, but falters. He looks down and notices that he no longer has his signature wheels, which catches him off guard. Gordy's Colossal, meanwhile, has leapt into the air in a ball of flames and slams into Ash's Colossal, and this actually ends up knocking his Colossal out. Confused, Ash asks how that attack did so much damage, and Gordy explains that Tar Shot causes the opponent to become weak to fire-type attacks, no matter what its type is. He also notes that it is a specific move that Colossal can learn. Despite the attack causing him to lose, Ash remarks on how cool the move is. He calls Colossal back, praising him on the earlier win and evolution. He then takes out his last choice of the match, another new evolution. He brings in Inteleon, who of course gets hit with Stealth Rocks immediately upon entry. Naturally, Gordy starts off by repeating his previous tactic, commanding a Tar Shot. But Ash is prepared now, and has Inteleon intercept with a Snipe Shot, her newest attack. The attacks collide into a small explosion. Gordy doesn't let this counter to his strategy stop him, and he pushes forward with attacks. He commands Rock Tomb, but Inteleon is speedy enough to dodge. The crowd roars at Inteleon's amazing speed. Ash commands Water Pledge, and the attack deals a heavy blow. But Pikachu notices that Colossal's body is beginning to glow faintly. Ash becomes confident until Gordy smirks. The gym leader then orders his Pokemon to use Heat Crash. Ash commands Inteleon to dodge, but Colossal dashes over and strikes with his powerful attack, causing Inteleon to slam into the ground. Gordy thanks Ash for the previous attack, and tells him that Colossal's Steam Engine ability causes it to become faster when hit by a Water-type move. Ash asks Inteleon if she's okay, and she nods. From here, Ash doesn't want to risk anything, so he decides that it's time to Dynamax. And since Gordy doesn't want to be outdone, he does the same. Ash quickly notices Gordy's Colossal looks different as it grows, and he deduces that the Pokemon is Gigantamax, and he remarks on how cool the form is. He wishes to one day Gigantamax his own Colossal. Gordy commands G-Max Vocalith, and since he's now faster, the attack lands first, and Inteleon is hit hard. Ash thus hits back with a Max Geyser, which sets up the rain. Inteleon ends up taking an extra bout of damage after Colossal's attack, which Gordy explains is an effect of the G-Max move, doing damage to non-rock types. Gordy decides to get rid of the rain, so he uses Max Flare next, but Ash simply counters back with Max Geyser, causing steam to shroud the battlefield. Inteleon does still take more damage from the G-Max move. Gordy calls for another G-Max Vocalith, but Inteleon blocks the attack with Max Guard at the last second. But of course, she still takes damage from the prior attack. The Dynamax ends and both Pokemon shrink back down. Inteleon is a bit more worn down considering the effect the G-Max move had on her, but with the rain still falling, she has an advantage. Gordy rushes to end things soon, so he orders Rock Tomb, and thanks to his elevated speed, Colossal launches the attack quickly before Inteleon can dodge. The chameleon struggles to her feet, but in that moment, she begins to glow. The Rotom phone identifies this as her Torrent ability. With this, Ash goes in for the final strike. He commands a single snipe shot. Gordy orders Colossal to dodge, but in his rush to move out of the way, he winds up slipping due to the rain pouring on the battlefield. As such, Inteleon's attack lands, and she takes Colossal out instantly. The crowd cheers, and Ash and Inteleon rush over to each other. Ash congratulates the Pokemon on her win, telling her that she battled amazingly. Slowly, Gordy approaches Ash, clapping proudly. He commends Ash for managing to pull off a victory, despite so many things being against him, especially the rough start. Ash then thanks Gordy for pushing him so hard in the battle, and especially in getting his Carkol to evolve. Gordy says that he can't wait to see Ash's Colossal in the rest of the gym challenge. He then awards Ash the Rock Badge. You had me worried at the beginning there, Ash, but that was a good battle regardless. Keep up the good work, and remember, you're still representing me as your rival out there, and I can't have anyone thinking I wouldn't choose the best of the best as my rival. Don't forget that. Sure thing, Clara, Ash says as he hangs up the Rotom phone. The girl had rung him up as soon as the battle ended to congratulate and scold him on the match. Ash and Gloria reunite in the lobby, and Gloria says that Ash's battles keep getting better and better. Ash thanks her and says that he feels like his Pokemon are stronger than ever. As they prepare to exit the gym, a familiar face greets them happily. It's Sonia, once again, and she tells Ash and Gloria that she has something important to show them. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you all enjoyed this part. I know it was a bit shorter than usual, but don't worry, because I have something really special for you right here. I mentioned in the Isle of Armor episode that we do need to add our movies for this series, and in that video, I said that our first Sword and Shield movie in this Sakuraverse was going to be a slightly altered version of Secrets of the Jungle, featuring our versions of Ash and Gloria, taking place between parts 3 and 4. And by the way, I was literally just able to finally watch that movie the day before I was recording this. Anyway, I think this is a good place to go over movie 2, which will be taking place between parts 5 and 6. However, this will be a completely original movie. So, at the suggestion of a few comments, I decided that our second movie will be focused on the Darkest Day plot. Now, to be specific, this will be somewhat of a prequel to the actual Darkest Day from Sword and Shield to introduce these events before the Darkest Day arc takes place. This movie will be called The Mystery of the Slumbering World, Zacian and Zamazenta. At least for now. If you guys can think of anything catchier, you can let me know in the comments. For the sake of simplicity, I'm just going to give a super brief rundown of what this movie would entail. Now, if you guys remember, the beginning of our series was a bit different from the beginning of the actual Sword and Shield games. Neither of our main characters went to the Slumbering World or encountered Zacian or Zamazenta, meaning those Pokemon still haven't debuted yet. I didn't want to wait until our eventual Darkest Day arc to do that, so let's make up for skipping out on their original introduction by giving them a movie introduction. And by the way, I know you guys are going to say I did show the Slumbering World before in part 1 where Ash found Sobble when she was missing, but I just used that image because it had a body of water in it. Ash never actually went there. So, the movie will see Ash and Gloria going back to Postwick after defeating Opal. And I know what you're thinking, after they defeated Opal, they just went straight to the Isle of Armor. Or did they? Remember, we said that they had to go back to Wedgehurst in order to take the train to the Isle of Armor. Well, maybe instead of going right there, what actually happened was that their train was running a bit late. I'm going to say that the train to get to the Isle was unfortunately delayed and wouldn't be transporting passengers until a few days later. No biggie for Ash and Gloria, they can find something to do. They call up Magnolia to update her on the situation. She informs them that the delay just can't be helped, but it might actually not be so bad. You see, she actually wanted Sonia to head to the Slumbering World for a special research assignment, as there have been reports of strange happenings occurring in the woods. But since her granddaughter has been so busy in Stowonside, she hasn't had time to investigate. Magnolia asks if Ash and Gloria can help her with this, quote, quick task before they head out to the Isle of Armor. Of course, they agree. So they head on over to the Slumbering World in Postwick, and from there, they spend a bit of time wandering around and just exploring the area, looking for whatever these strange happenings are. As they roam, Pikachu spots the shadowy figures of 2 canine Pokemon and runs toward them. Ash and Gloria make chase, but when they arrive, Pikachu seems to have lost the Pokemon. They decide to look around the new area with all their Pokemon, but things start to go wrong. One by one, Ash and Gloria's Pokemon are led astray by the shadowy figures, while the trainers are too busy to notice. Eventually, Ash and Gloria notice that only their starters are left, and at that very moment, Pikachu and Cinderace are being led away in a trance. They see the source of the problem. Ash discovers a cyan Pokemon, and Gloria sees a magenta one, but they only lock eyes for a few moments before a fog shrouds their vision. Time passes, and eventually the kids wake up and all their Pokemon are completely gone, so of course they decide that they need to go find them. Meanwhile, we cut to seeing Rose in an airplane. He's on the phone with Magnolia, telling her that he's on a current project where he hopes he will prevent the future energy crisis of Galar. Magnolia doesn't really pay him too much mind though, and basically tells him that she truly believes that he's wasting his time and wishes he'd focus his skills on other things. Rose politely tells her that he's sure she'll change her tune once she sees what he has in store. After he angrily hangs up, he vents to Oleana, wondering why no one will listen to him about this. He soon calms down, stating that it won't be long until everyone shows him the respect he deserves, once he single-handedly saves the region. Back at the Slumbering World, Pikachu wakes up and finds himself surrounded by his Pokemon friends and teammates. However, they're all in a strange location with no trainers in sight and are utterly confused. They are surrounded by water and a large structure stands before them. At the center of the structure are the two large canine Pokemon that he saw before. They are laying down and simply watching the other Pokemon that they just led to the area. The Pokemon group is rather annoyed and a bit rowdy over the situation. They demand to know why they've been brought here and what happened to their trainers. The Pokemon, through telepathy for the audience, introduce themselves as Zacian and Zamazenta. They let them know what happened, which has the Pokemon startled. They then explain that they are legendary Pokemon and the guardians of this place, and that humans aren't meant to go there. The two don't trust humans and feel that Pokemon are better off without them. Pikachu and the others angrily yell back that what Zacian and Zamazenta did was wrong, and they're going to find their trainers. However, their attempts to leave bring up a force field, stopping them from leaving. Zamazenta says that they should just stay in the Slumbering World, where it's safe and they can be protected. Zacian adds that she and Zamazenta can fend off dangerous people and Pokemon and allow them to live in peace. But Pikachu and the others demand to be let free. When the legendary Pokemon refuse to allow it, the Pokemon gang up to attack. Sadly, their efforts are in vain, as they are quickly overpowered. We cut back to Ash and Gloria, who search for their Pokemon all throughout the day. They constantly feel their Pokemon's presence, which leads them closer toward their location. Back to Rose, his plane has landed, and he and his Macrocosmos employees stand in front of a meteorite. Rose exclaims in glee that he's finally found it. This is the key to solving everything. He and his followers hook up the meteorite to a machine and try to lift it. However, once they do, the meteorite begins to glow and gives off an aura, which causes it to become shrouded in Dynamax energy. The meteorite begins to crack and Eternatus emerges. Back in the world, Pikachu and the others wake up. Random wild Pokemon are assisting in tending to their wounds. Zacian and Zamazenta are sitting on the altar at the back. Pikachu once again begs to be freed, stating that their trainers must be sick with worry. Zacian and Zamazenta are confused on why any Pokemon would care so much about a human. Pikachu explains his and the others' strong bond with their trainers and how they all care for each other. Zamazenta and Zacian explain their confusion once again, but barely have time to say anything as a massive beam crashes into the forest. The beam actually hits a small trio of Pokemon, an Orbeetle, a Dreadnought, and a Snorlax. The Pokemon immediately Gigantamax and go on a rampage. Ash and Gloria see this from where they are and run off to see what's wrong, concerned that their own Pokemon could be hurt by them. Ash and Gloria's Pokemon freak out, worried that these Pokemon may hurt their trainers, who have no Pokemon to protect them. Zamazenta and Zacian are simply concerned by the Pokemon in the forest, and state that they need to stop them. They stand up, revealing the rusted sword and shield behind the altar. They howl into the air and transform into their crowned forms. The legendary Pokemon, along with Pikachu and the others, split up to stop these threats. Gloria's team goes after Orbeetle, while Ash's Pokemon go to stop Dreadnought, and the hero duo attempt to defeat Snorlax. Snorlax is quickly defeated and explains that it and the other two Pokemon randomly got blasted by this random beam of energy, which caused them to rampage. The duo then run off to stop the others. Ash and Gloria also split up to try to figure out what's going on, to no avail. They are nearly attacked, but are saved by their Pokemon just in time. Ash and Gloria state how thrilled they are to see their teams are safe and sound, and they even take the time to hug them, in spite of the dangerous situation. Zacian and Zamazenta are impressed by the bond that the kids share with their Pokemon, but they remind themselves of the current situation and get back into action. They fend off the Gigantamax Pokemon, with Zacian helping Ash's team, while Zamazenta lends his assistance to Gloria and her Pokemon. At some point during the battle, a small appling gets caught in the crossfire, and Ash has all of his Pokemon fire a combo attack to intercept the blast. Meanwhile, Gloria has her Pokemon do everything they can to shield the wild Pokemon around her. The hero duo see the compassion Ash and Gloria have, not just for their own Pokemon, but all of them. Zacian at one point locks eyes with Ash, and she sees the passion he has to fight to save everyone around him. Zamazenta's eyes meet Gloria, and he can feel the energy to protect those closest to her that she has within. The group spar long enough for Zacian and Zamazenta to eventually defeat the Gigantamax Pokemon, returning them to normal. Meanwhile, Rose and Macrocosmos have used their Steel-type Pokemon to weaken Eternatus enough through a max raid battle, so that the boss can capture it with a Master Ball he brought for the occasion. Rose laughs quietly as he picks up the Master Ball, stating that now he will forge a path as the savior of Galar's Gym Challenge and the region as a whole. Once all has been calmed in the Slumbering world, Ash and Gloria officially reunite with their Pokemon, letting them know that they've been searching for them for ages, and ask if they're okay. The Pokemon confirm that they're fine and state that they missed them. As they are reuniting, Zacian and Zamazenta quickly walk off before the trainers can really notice. They are only able to briefly meet their eyes once more before they vanish into the fog. They attempt to run after them, but when they do, they're back at the entrance of the forest. Ash and Gloria are confused, but silently happy, knowing that those strange Pokemon saved them and their own Pokemon. The kids head to the train station the next day, ready to finally depart to the Isle of Armor. They call Magnolia to explain what happened the previous 2 days, and she is shocked to hear the truth behind the recent events. She saw the Gigantamax Pokemon from her lab and had been terrified, but she is happy to hear that everything worked out, though she still wonders what caused the random surge of Dynamax energy to be launched into the forest in the first place. She says she'll have Sonia look into it. Ash and Gloria quickly finish up the call and head out to the train, ready to continue on with their adventure. Meanwhile, the movie ends with Rose heading down to the Hammerlock Energy Plant, clutching a Master Ball in his hand, grinning madly to himself.